Why does this exist? Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey is about 5 college girls who go to a weekend getaway in a cabin at the 100-acre wood, only to find themselves and Christopher Robin being terrorized by Winnie the Pooh and Piglet, who are now bloodthirsty feral beasts. Hello and welcome back to another review from HLHReviews. Today I will be reviewing Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, the first installment of a planned twisted childhood universe. Yeah, let's have the MCU have a run for its money, shall we? Just to give you guys a quick background, I was not one of the people who were excited for this when it got announced 2 years ago. I could easily see through, just from watching the trailer, that what this film was going to be about, and I basically had no interest in it. But unfortunately, I was sadly a victim of the group of people who were morbidly curious about the film, and basically what the film was going to be. I was unfortunate enough to be confident that the movie would be a fun, campy horror film, kind of similar to Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Movies where you can have have a goofy fun, with just basically what you're watching. I felt that's what this film was going to be, to pull the rug underneath me and give me a campy horror film with Winnie the Pooh's signature kills. This was the worst film that I saw in 2023. I even ranked it in the movies that I saw in 2023. And I had no desire to basically rewatch this ever again until very recently, just to get this review out of the way for the second film, which I know I'm gonna see. And sorry to spoil this to you people, but my opinion on this film has not changed whatsoever in the span of a year. Now, before I unload my guns on this piece of shit, let's talk about the buckets of popcorn. The only part of this film that I actually did like was the animated opening of them setting up what this film was going to be about and why these characters are not exactly going to be the same characters that we all know and love. It's the only part of this film as well that actually delves into the way the Disney films and even the books set up the story, especially with the narration. So yeah, it got me intrigued to see where they were going to go with the film. And the overall last thing that I'll positively say is this. The concept of taking a beloved children's property and turning them into rated R slasher villains. Doesn't that feel like it could be a fun concept to you? It does to me, because I can easily see that being a fun concept you can explore if you execute it properly and, you just give us a good, overall, goofy, fun time with it. So again, does turning Winnie the Pooh characters into rated R slasher villains sounds like a fun idea to you? Because it does to me. But sadly, as I get into the things I throw in the dumpster fire, the execution of all of that ended up being a film that is, without question, the worst horror film I've watched since I've been on YouTube. To get this obvious thing out of the way first is this. There's literally no story whatsoever being told in this film. Now, I know it's a slasher film, okay? And a lot of slasher movies, they don't rely on story arcs. The Friday the 13th franchise, looking at you specifically. But I'm an audience member who is a story and character person first, gore last. That is what I expect from a horror film, and basically in other genres as well. I expected that in this film, and that's not what I got whatsoever. And that's really mainly because the only bit of story that you're gonna get in this film is the animated opening where Christopher Robin discovers Winnie the Pooh and friends, and everybody's best friends forever. It's just like in the Disney films and books. But Christopher Robin has to grow up into adulthood and leaves the 100-acre wood. Winnie the Pooh and his gang are left in the forest without a human companion to bring them food, and from the fucking moment that Winter first shows up, they're just out of they just have no other choices, and out of desperation they eat Eeyore.
Nigga, what the fuck?
That event just forever traumatizes them and turns them into these feral beasts who hate Christopher Robin and all of humans. So if you come anywhere near these guys, they're just gonna kill you. And anything else beyond that, that is where the storytelling just basically jumps out of the window. So story, non-existent in this. The characters all around are generic as hell. They don't get any interesting things to do in this film other than to have these girls just basically do jack shit in this cabin and get killed off. Like, even the main girl in here who's had this like traumatizing thing happen to her doesn't go, it just goes nowhere in this film, and it doesn't really amount to anything. They even have two girls of this, and look, I'm sorry if you get offended by me saying this, but they have two of these girls being a lesbian couple, if you will. But it comes out of nowhere because we don't get a single moment of these two actually being in love with each other. It's just, like, it just comes out of nowhere. Like, especially when it's in before a death scene, it's just, oh yeah, I love you. I love you too. That's just literally how it goes. Everybody else in this film, they may as well just be cardboard cutouts throughout the entire thing. That's how exciting they are as characters. The acting in this film is god fucking awful. I swear to you, almost everybody in this film, they all seriously feel like they're in competition of who could be the worst out of them all. The guy who plays Christopher Robin in this was easily the fucking worst actor I have ever seen for a slasher film. Every single scene where he's acting distraught, holy fuck, it is horrendous to sit through.
Why are you doing this, Pooh? We used to be friends. Why are you doing this, please?
And my god, on this most recent rewatch of this film, these characters are fucking idiotic as hell. And basically, when one of their friends gets killed and they see their dead body, and, you know, especially when they see the bloody get out sign, they don't leave. Like, they don't fucking leave. They don't consider, like, wanting to get the fuck out of Dodge as soon as possible. They spend the majority of the second and third act of this of them just running around to defend themselves to stop Pooh and Piglet. I mean, I know this movie would have been way too over, or it would have been over way too soon if they all just left and ran like hell. But my god, seeing them running around and trying to defend themselves and just saving people that just get killed off anyway, it was driving me fucking insane. How much more do these girls, how much more do they need to know that if they don't get out, they will be dead? And it's by that point that you just don't give a shit about them, and you just don't even care if they even get killed off. And oh my god, there is even more idiotic decisions where it was driving me up a fucking wall. There's a scene where one of the girls is in the pool with Piglet, you know, and you know, Piglet's chasing her with the sledgehammer in the pool. She doesn't get out of the pool at all. She just frantically swims to the other side. You can easily get out of the fucking pool, you dumb... Again, the decisions these characters make drove me up a fucking wall. The score for this movie, it's terrible because it's just generic as hell. tension music. Like, none of the music that they composed for this, it's in no way, shape, or form resembles what you heard in the Disney films. It's just generic as hell music that I wouldn't be surprised if the guy who was credited for this just found generic as hell music on like SoundCloud or some shit. And the biggest thing that they did in this movie that I am pretty certain that if you align with my taste as well, is that they don't do anything with the concept of taking a beloved children's property and turning it into a rated R slasher film. There's no signature kills like seeing Winnie the Pooh cutting someone's head off and throwing it in a honey pot. There's nothing funny or campy with the film. There's no Pooh or Piglet voices. It's literally basically watching a wrong turn film, but the characters are replaced by two guys wearing a garbage bear and pig mask, and they're just out there killing random, nameless characters throughout the whole thing. The whole concept is, at least the way I view it, is to throw blood and gore by taking the characters, exploring the world like in some dark fashion, and hey, maybe have some goofy fun with it. They don't do shit with that at all in this film. Absolutely nothing in this film screams Winnie the Pooh. And even if you're someone who likes goofy or campy fun with horror films, you're not finding it here because it's mean-spirited and it has no fun with its concept whatsoever. And look, even if you're in a forgiving mood with this film, which I kind of was when watching this in the theater, and you're just willing to basically sift through rubble that, hey, maybe you'll get decent kills with decent gore effects, because that's basically the lowest hanging fruit you can have with slashers. Even if it's bad, it's like, well, hey, at least I should look forward to some decent kills in this film, right? Of course not. All the kills that we get in this are generic. They're just stuff that we've seen in dozens of other horror films. You know, stabs, throat slashes, ripping flesh off, shit like that. And to make these kills even worse, a lot of them use CG blood, which ruins any tension that any of these kills could have had. They even use CG blood on the most fucking obscure shit, like blood dripping on a pot. Like, I know that this was a low-budget movie, but you couldn't afford to have blood dripping on a pot just for a single shot? What the fuck? At the end of the day, this was a film that is just not my thing whatsoever. And you know when people say that they don't like horror films and they just think that all horror films suck? I genuinely believe that movies like these, they are just the only ones that they've ever seen, and they did not watch anything else beyond that, or any other movies beyond this. Because believe me, there are far better horror films and even slasher films out there, and this ain't one of them. Unless you're someone who really loves to watch movies like this that are mean-spirited and they just and there's just no fun in there. Unless you're someone that, you know, that gets your ass glued to the seat on movies like this, this is a movie that's just not worth your time and money. And even though they are already planning to have like this cinematic universe of taking beloved children's property characters and turning them into slasher villains, why the hell would they start it like this? But who knows? Maybe the second film that just got released today, along with Bambi, Peter Pan, Pinocchio, and Pooniverse, maybe all these things, they'll probably be better than whatever this was. But it just baffles me that they would start the universe like this, with a mean-spirited movie like this that just has no goofy fun with it to make you excited to see more. That's basically like having Iron Man 1. And we never get to see Tony make the suit, or even Dawn to be Iron Man. He's just Tony Stark throughout the whole film. Does that sound like a fun way to start your universe? Because it sure as hell doesn't sound like that to me. So, to wrap this up with my rating, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey is a mean-spirited, low-budget slasher film with terrible characters, horrible acting, no impact on its kills, and not even a small smackeral of fun with its concept. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please tell me how you feel about this movie down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. And to see a lot more videos from me in the near future, hit the subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you can get notified every single time I upload. I hope you all have a blessed life, and in case I don't ever get to meet you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.